There's that man again.
So you ever smell those types of fragrance that are so elegant that it makes you want to put a pinky up for it? Yeah, those fragrances that kind of almost like put you into the realm of being a tea drinker or a fine wine drinker. And because I am this Mr. Sommelier, yeah, this is right up my alley. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Teddy Files. I'm your resident sommelier, Mr. Diaz Teddy, and today we are talking about pinkies up fragrances that smell so good you got to put a pinky in the air for them. And this idea, the idea for the this specific Teddy File was given to me by Mrs. Grizz because Mrs. Grizz is a genius, and she helps me out with a lot of stuff. But the way I will be presenting the fragrances today in the form of Mr. Sommelier is something that no one else has done outside of the young lady that gave me the idea for this. So shout out to you, young lady. I'm sorry I cannot think of your name, but I'm sure if you see this video, please make sure you shout yourself out because this idea was brilliant. So the idea is to basically take a wine glass, or in this case, whiskey glass, spray the fragrance in there, and then just swirl it around and get the full ambiance of the fragrance. So this is a great idea. And the first fragrance that I actually wanted to do this with, believe it or not, for me, I don't know how many other people are crazy about this fragrance or even like it. It's not the longest lasting fragrance in the world, but when I tell you, when it gets on skin, pinky's up, baby. I'm telling you, pinky's up for this one. And that would be Cacharel. This fragrance right here, I'm going to tell you right now, when I first smelled it, I smelled a lot of cumin, things of that nature. I'm not sure if there's any cumin in it. Of course, I'll be looking up the notes to tell you guys about it. But it wasn't something that initially I was going to gravitate towards. And then one day I decided to go to the gym and I sprayed it on skin. And look here. The way this opened up. Clean, fresh linen. That is the best way to describe this. Clean, woodsy, somewhat green, spicy. This is for a cheap fragrance. I think I paid $16 for this. It does not last long. 4 hours. That's about it. Maybe about 45 minutes of projection. But when I tell you the wearing experience and the scent itself, oh my God, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. The green, the spiciness, the aromat. This you see the pinky, ladies and gentlemen. When I tell you, this fragrance is definitely worth the pickup. If I were you, especially for spring and summer, you want something clean, something that smells fresh and clean. Hey, you cannot go wrong with this. And that's Cacharel. So the next fragrance that I have coming up is warm, aromatic, and woodsy, and slightly sweet, and that will be L'Homme Ideal, EDT by Guerlain. So I do love the EDP as well, but there's something for me that is uh, such a masterpiece when it comes to the EDT. This fragrance here, when I tell you, the sweetness in this is balanced so well with that woody tone. This is an awesome fragrance. And of course, doing it this way concentrates it just a little bit more. But as the dry down starts to come, you start to really get more of that leather, the cedar, and the vetiver. But at the top, of course, there's A little bit of brightness, just a little bit of brightness that comes from the orange blossom and things of that nature. But the middle notes, are where it's at, especially that almond and the tonka bean. Look, this right here to me is a classically elegant fragrance that is perfect for going out with your lady, night on the town with friends. It's actually pretty good in the office because it's very inoffensive. It is not an overpowering fragrance. That's one of the reasons why I say it's one of those pinkies out fragrances, because it's really, really good in so many different situations. But it is definitely unforgettable once somebody smells it on you. So you're starting to get to the dry down now, and it is absolutely amazing. Family, for me, about 6 to 7 hours of longevity is what I got out of this. This is definitely a Pinkies Out fragrance, and that would be L'Homme Ideal, EDT by Guerlain. So the next fragrance that I got coming up is Ozonic, Fresh and Sweet, and that would be Xclusif Oud Classic by Tonka. And just so you know, guys know, if you were wondering, yes, I do wipe out and change out the paper in the glass each and every time I make a spray, because you'll be mixing a lot of fragrances, and that's just not how you do this. I want the purity and the fullness of each fragrance. So yeah, I wipe out and change the sheet of paper on the inside every single time. So yeah, it's a little bit more, but I promise you it's worth it for me. So this fragrance right here, like I said, man, the ozonic and mineralic tones of this fragrance is absolutely awesome. It's been compared to Herba Pura, and in all honesty, I can see exactly where that comparison comes from. To me, yeah, about 80%, man. 80%. This is a little sweeter than Herba Pura, but when the dry down comes, it's a lot greener as well. It's a lot greener as well when the dry down comes. So this right here, it's a really good fragrance. You have to like sweet fragrances at the top. I did clock it. For me, when I wore it, I did clock it at over 8 hours. So it's a really good performer as well. The sillage is amazing as well. It is not going to be for everyone. Some people may think it leans a little bit feminine, but to me, it doesn't. I believe it's perfectly unisex. It's a definitely perfectly unisex fragrance. I mean, in this one, you got some beautiful notes like bergamot and green notes at the top. You also have melon, pineapple, and gourmand accord in the middle, where a lot of that sweetness comes from. But in the bottom, you also have vanilla, woody notes, and musk. And you definitely, at the back end of the fragrance, you catch a lot more of the musk, but it still maintains that sweetness from the mid part of the fragrance as well. This is a really good fragrance, everyone. Honestly, it's not that expensive. I think I paid about $54 for it. I got it on Joma Shop. Once again, like I always do with all the other fragrances, I'll link them down in the description box. And just so everybody knows, no, I do not get paid. I don't have any kind of affiliate links or anything like that. I just look for the best price for fragrances so you can save some money and smell great. But this right here, in all honesty, to me, is definitely worth the purchase. And if you are a fan of Herba Pura, you might just like this one, and that would be Tonka Xclusif Oud Classic. So the next fragrance that I got coming up has been a Pinkies Out fragrance for a long time. Man, it ain't no different with me either, and that would be Boss the Scent Absolute. This is one of my favorite The Scent fragrances. Man, you talking about warm and spicy? That Maninka fruit. When I tell you, that gets me every time. It is the sweet richness of that Maninka fruit And this has such a bold and strong and brash nature to it. It is, to me, it is a take no prisoners type fragrance. Now, that doesn't mean that it's overpowering and too much in your face. To me, honestly, it's classically masculine. It's just a classically masculine fragrance. And of course, with the Boss the Scent fragrances, most of the time they only give you 3 notes. You got ginger, maninka fruit, and vetiver. Now, I'm pretty sure there are other notes in here. And for this one, this for me lasts for about 8 hours. So it's definitely a pinky up in the air fragrance. Man, I cannot stop smelling this. I love this fragrance. It's just that rich boldness to it that definitely makes me gravitate to it each and every single time. I have never one time had the scent fragrance that I did not like. And this is definitely not one of the ones that I don't like. I absolutely love it. And I think you will too. And that will be Boss the Scent Absolute. So the next fragrance that I got coming up, I think I wore this. I've worn this about 4 times and I just got it. And this is definitely a Pinkies Out fragrance. And that would be by Bharara, Tonka. So this fragrance here, sweet, amazingly sweet, powdery, woodsy. I mean, this fragrance right here. So, how everyone says that Afnan 9 p.m. is a take, but in many people's eyes, a better take of Ultramont. Well, I would say that this right here, this fragrance here, is Ultramont smoothed out and longer lasting. This gave me about 9 to 10 hours. The sillage is amazing. It is, once again, it is so much closer to Ultramalt. If you're looking for the Ultramalt DNA, this is so much closer to the Ultramalt DNA, and it is so much smoother than Ultramalt. I mean, it has almost a butteriness to this fragrance. This fragrance is amazing. I mean, you got top notes of bergamot, pear, and mint. You have heart notes of floral and woody notes. You have base notes of vanilla, amber, musk, sandalwood, and patchouli to come together to give you this beautiful, buttery, rich, but sensual fragrance. When I tell you this fragrance right here, if what you're looking for is the Ultramalt DNA, but you want it on a higher scale, in my opinion, this right here accomplishes it. And that would be Tonka by Bharara. Now, my next fragrance up, some people might agree with me that this is definitely a Pinkies Up fragrance. There are some people that won't. Once again, fragrance is subjective. And to me, this is definitely a Pinkies Out fragrance, and that would be Jimmy Choo Aqua. Now, I'm a fan of Jimmy Choo fragrances. I have all of them. And for me, the Aqua is one of the most clean and mass appealing ones that they have. All of them are mass appealing. Let's just get that out of the way. But there is something special about this Aqua one. I mean, just that beautiful, just minerally tone off the top, that fresh citrus, that C notes. I mean, this is an amazing fragrance, man. Look, it took me a while to get it. I had ice for the longest time, and then I went on and got the original, and got the intense version as well. I even have the Urban and Urban Heroes, so I'm a pretty good fan of Jimmy Choo. I even have blue, but for me, there is something so Pinkies Out about this Aqua. I mean, this is, oh my goodness, you want to talk about fresh, clean, just oceanic. This is an amazing fragrance. This is a day at the beach if I have ever smelled one in a glass. I swear to you, man. Yes, I love this fragrance. Just in case you're wondering, in case you can't tell, especially on my skin, it pops. It pops on my skin. It doesn't last as long as you would love it to, because you would love to sit in the sillage of this all day. But 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6 if you're pushing it, is what I got. After that, everything is a skin scent. But you got off the top, you got that beautiful bright grapefruit with that cardamom, the seawater and clary sage. You definitely catch those sea notes in the middle of this. But then you got at the bottom, you got the earthiness of the patchouli and the moss. This is a well done fragrance. This is definitely a well done fragrance. In all honesty, is definitely for me a Pinkies Out fragrance, and it could be possibly one for you, and that would be Jimmy Choo Aqua. So I'm not sure if I'm going to make this my last fragrance. I guess we'll figure out after I finish doing the conversational review of this fragrance, but it's definitely for me a Pinkies Out fragrance, and that would be Oolong Sha by Nishane. The moment that I got this fragrance, I fell instantly in love with it. It is so relaxing, so citrusy, so warm and spicy. I mean, the beauty of this fragrance, the absolute beauty and the elegance and cleanliness and just earthy, beautiful, citrusy tones. I don't understand. I don't understand how you couldn't love this fragrance. I really don't. I mean, once again, I understand fragrance is subjective. Not everyone's going to like everything. But, man, it's hard for me to understand how you really just could not like this fragrance. This is so bright and juicy at the top, and it's just so beautifully floral. I mean, this fragrance for me is a perfect relaxation type fragrance. It is very inoffensive. You can wear it in the office. I get about 6 to 7 hours out of it. So you get a pretty good amount of longevity. I mean, at the top, you have bergamot orange, mandarin orange, and litsi kuboba. Not even sure what that is, but whatever it is, it smells good in here. Oolong tea, nutmeg, fig, and musk. And they all come together to give you this beautiful, relaxing, elegant smelling fragrance that works perfect in so many environments. I wear it in the wintertime, fall, spring, summer. It does not matter. It always works for me. And it's definitely a Pinkies Out fragrance. So it's one of the more on the expensive side fragrances. But if you can get a great deal on it, you'd be hitting the lottery with this one. But even at the price that you can get it at a regular price, to me, it's worth it. And that would be Oolong Sha by Nishane. Well, everyone, that is my time. I was going to bring out another fragrance, but we are already at the 20-minute threshold. And I didn't want to keep you guys here all day because, to me, I have so many Pinkies Out fragrances behind me and in that closet over there and on this shelf over here that we'd be here all night and all day talking about fragrances that are Pinkies Out. Now, when I say Pinkies Out, that does not mean everything that I smell is Pinkies Out. It has to give me a certain kind of feel. It has to have a certain kind of je ne sais quoi to the fragrance. And all of the ones that I just mentioned to you, from the cheapest one that I showed you to the most expensive one that I showed you, is definitely one of those Pinkies Out fragrances. And ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the content because it helps the channel to grow. And make sure you hit that bell icon to get notified each and every time I upload a video, because my name is Mr. Diaz Teddy, your fragrance sommelier. And over here we don't do stink. So please don't be a stink ass. Have a good night.